All right. Hello, everyone. This is the MGTOW Cowboy. Greetings and salutations. I got a real good one for you today. So I was perusing the MGTOW.tv website, and I found a real gem, and I wanted to share it with you guys. This is going to be a video by Turd Flinging Monkey, and it's called something. What is it? It's
Hey
called.
everyone, my name is
Oops. I'm sorry. It's called Broken Tool Support Group by TFM, and it's a classic. It I don't know, goes back to like 2016 or 2017 or something like that. Let me just quickly say, for any new MGTOWs, this guy is gold. He's going to be dropping so many gems in a quick little 10-minute video. I'll try to make a couple comments, but I basically agree with everything he says here. And he's basically going to say that men are brainwashed. It doesn't serve society for men to care about themselves. You're disposable, and when they want to get rid of you, they'll just get rid of you. And so men need to advocate for themselves. Yeah, so I'm sorry, without further ado, let's just start this video. It's only 11 minutes long, but it's great. All right, here goes.
the Officer First Class Monkey, and this is the first time I've ever come to one of these veteran support groups. I was 8 years in the United States Navy. I did 2 tours in Iraq. I don't know, I just never really... PTSD was never a problem for me. So I got good news and bad news. The good news is, you can get better. I know you can get better. The bad news is you're not going to get better here. You're not going to get better with the tools society is giving you. And the reason why is society doesn't want you to get better. Or more accurately, society can't heal men as a whole because it needs them to be tools. The reason why you're suffering from PTSD isn't because of what happened in the war. We all went to war, we all saw some fucked up shit. The reason why you can't sleep at night, the reason why you can't have a job, the reason why you're on all these meds isn't because of what you saw. It's because you lost your identity. I've seen men come back from war and, they have problems, they develop issues, and the Army or whatever military unit gives them a medical discharge, maybe honorable, usually medical, and that's it. They give them a VA card, maybe a disability check, and they send them out into the real world. And what they don't understand, or I think they understand it, but fixing the problem would fundamentally break the system. Because the point is, the reason why you're suffering is because you have made your identity that as a soldier or a Marine or whatever. That is who you are. That is your identity. And it was taken from you. And now you don't know what you are. You don't know who you are, you don't know what you should do, and nobody's giving you the answers. And when you're in the military, somebody is always there to tell you what to do, to give you the answers. There's simplicity in that. Now, of course, in the military, you have far less personal freedom. But some people love the military lifestyle. They love not having to think about these things, just showing up, going to work, being told what to do, following your orders, going home.
Okay, yeah, I'll stop it right there. Let me first say I was never in the military. My father was. He was a United States Marine for 11 years, or 4 active, and then 5 or 6. I forget what it's called, like Ready Reserve or Reserve. I've heard some things about the military, but I can't speak directly. I chose to go to university instead. But whatever. But it's very similar. I mean, it's the same thing with a lot of jobs. So, what I want to add right now, or basically, I just want to agree with him and say that, you are taught that men are taught that their value comes from what they do. They're taught that, as the saying goes, men are human doings, women are human beings. Women are important just for existing, but not a man. We are taught anyway that a man must be doing something in order to be considered important. But what MGTOW teaches you is the exact opposite, that you actually have intrinsic value just for being you. And this is not approved thought by the people that run the world, because they don't like men thinking like that. Because if enough of them did, we wouldn't put up with this crappy slave system that we currently find ourselves in. So, but that's my 2 cents. And then again, just quickly, like, I was not in the military, but I would say the corporate world and most jobs are very similar to that. They want you to just, shut up, don't have any independent thought, just do what you're told, and keep your head down and keep quiet. All right, here we go.
But when you come back from the war and the military cuts you loose, you don't know what to do. Nobody is telling you what to do. Nobody's giving you orders. And you blame society, you blame the government for not supporting you. But what you really want is you want the government to put you back to work. You're like a dull knife, and you want the government to resharpen you and, put you back to work. And that's what the government, not just the government, that's what society's conditioned you to think, that you're just a tool. You're just a soldier. You're just a thing that needs to work, or you don't have any identity. You don't have any worth. And this is why a lot of veterans just feel hopeless and abandoned. It's like in Toy Story, where these talking toys feel like unless they have a child playing with them, they have no reason to exist. And you as a soldier, your entire reason for being was to be a tool, a utility for the army, for society. And this is reinforced when people thank you for your service. They're not thanking you for your sacrifice. They're not thanking you as a man. They're thanking you for what you did. Because what you did is all that you're worthy of. If you're not doing anything, then you're not worthy of anything. You are not a thing. There's a famous quote by Warren Farrell that says, "Women are human beings, and men are human doings." And when a veteran comes back and they're just cut loose because of, disability or whatnot, everything that they have, their identity is taken from them. And there's a reason why so many veterans, when their identity is taken from them, turn to drugs, end up homeless, or in their mind, they just snap. And they want to mentally return back to that war. They do crazy shit because they want.
Okay, let me stop it right there. Although it's different, it's also similar. My situation, or I should say my situation, although it was different, it was also similar in this way. Again, I was never in the military, but, my father was a traditionalist, or is a traditionalist, and I was raised in a certain way where I was taught, like, for example, I'm half Mexican, and my father was born in Mexico. And in Hispanic families, it is you're sort of taught to emphasize the importance of family, and that was instilled in me very, 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 very much to a high degree. Well, guess what? Even though I saw it that way, that's not how my siblings saw it. That's not how my mom or stepmom saw it. They were taught, no, family's not important. It's you, the individual, that's important. And so what ends up happening is, I'm told to sacrifice for my family, and I think that I'm building up all this social capital with them, but really, and this feeds right into Briffelt's law. If you know what Briffelt's law says, I'm thinking that I'm doing all this work for them, and I'm helping them, and I'm trying to be a good family member to them. And then, of course, when the time comes, they'll be nice to me. Oh, no, not at all. It's they totally forget what I did for them a week ago or a month ago or for the the last 5 years or whatever. And it's totally true when it's basically what I'm saying is, like, men are lied to. Men are brainwashed into thinking like, your identity needs to come from helping women, being of service to women. In his case, he's talking about being of service to the state, or in this case, the military, which is like a branch of the state. And then when the men get, released, or when the men get discharged, they feel lost. They feel aimless. Well, I think the same thing happened to me. I ended up essentially being cast out from my family because I developed MGTOW leanings and MGTOW thoughts, and I said to myself, why should I be serving these women? They don't reciprocate. They never help me. I help them, but they never help me. I'll give you one quick example. when I was, I don't know, 20, 25, maybe 24. I can't remember. My eldest sister, she purchased a multi-unit investment property with her husband. And my father and I, we attacked that building. Him and I basically, what's it called? When you go in, you tear down all the wall, you flip it, but they ended up keeping it, so it wasn't really a flip. My father and I went in there and did so much construction work. We basically like tore down all the walls, put in all new like cabinets, new sinks, a new commode. We did all this labor and all this construction work. My sister never gave me a dollar, not one single dollar. I mean, she never even gave me like gas money. I had to drive, to this location and do hours, tens of hours of work. And of course, at the time I was thinking this way because I was being lied to and brainwashed. I was thinking, haha, I'm doing all this good work. Man, my sister's going to love me. Man, I'm going to be, I'm going to be so respected. This is going to be great. No, she treated me worse than ever. And, I was so dumb. I mean, whatever. I try not to blame myself, but, I wish I had learned earlier. Wow, but my sisters, again, my mom, my stepmom, my sisters, women in general, they don't care at all for your sacrifices. But this is a secret. They don't want you to know this. Because if more men knew this and they knew it younger, it would totally change society. And of course, for the benefit of men. But not for the benefit of women. Not for the benefit of just society in general, corporations, the state, or I should say the government, and of course women. But this is something that MGTOW men have become cognizant of. The system is against you. Women don't care about you. You have to start caring for yourself. You have to start advocating for yourself. And you have to let go of that shame. You have to let go of all this, Again, they mostly use shame and blame. All right, moving on.
To go back. They want to go back to when things made sense. They want to go back to when they were useful, when they had an identity. But when you're discharged because of, mental issues or disability, you can't go back. In a perfect world, you get like a cyborg robot.
You know what? I'm sorry. Let me stop it right there. I have something to add. I remember feeling the same way when I first started having like a falling out with like one sister and then another. I felt the same way. I felt like, if my sister can just take me back, if we can just make up, and I'll try to be nice to her, and for years I was still thinking like maybe, it was my fault, or there's something I can do, or if there's some more work that I can perform for her, and I'll get back in her good graces. And this is a very hard lesson to learn, but there is nothing you can do. It's a bottomless pit of selfishness that these women have, and you just have to learn that, and you have to let go. You have to learn to let go and basically say screw them. All right.
A body, but in the real world, you're broken, and the government has no further use for you. And there's plenty of other younger men that they can use to take your place. So the government is simply done with you, and it's not coming back. And you feel hopeless and alone and used. This is exactly how men feel all the time when it comes to divorce, which is the number one cause of suicide. Because when a man ties his entire identity to being a husband and a father, that's who he is. He is a husband and a father. He is a family man. That is where he derives his identity. That is where he derives his worth. And then one day, his wife just files for divorce because she isn't happy. Because while he's at work paying all the bills, she feels lonely and she's fucking the neighbor. Who knows?
Okay, let me stop it right there. I have another thing to add. So, in a way, in a roundabout kind of way, sometimes I actually think it was good that I learned this lesson from my sisters or my siblings and my mother and stepmother. And the reason why I say that is because I think that I learned this lesson before making the big mistake of what we would call marriage. And so he's just bringing that up right now. A lot of men, they get handed off. When they're a kid, they're raised by their mother. Then they're handed off in grammar school to mostly female teachers. And then in high school, they get handed off mostly to female teachers. And then after high school, let's say you're some 18-year-old punk, and you don't know what to do in life, and you join the military, right? Well, what happens to a lot of guys in the military? They get married, and then they get handed off to some girl. And then, whatever, they get some Dear John letter, a couple months later, a year or two later, and they're just crushed. They're totally crushed. I can't remember. I remember hearing a statistic, something like 22 men kill themselves every single day in the United States military, in all branches combined. And as he says, the number one reason for this self-deletion, if you will, or suicide is divorce. These women, they see that these young men, they're getting a steady paycheck, and they're going to get some money, and they're going to get medical benefits extended to them. They marry these men, but they're cheating on them all over town. The men find out, and the men they're just ruined. They're just destroyed, and a lot of them kill themselves. So in a backward sort of way, maybe there's a silver lining, and it's a good thing that I had my heart broken by learning about women through my family, as opposed to actually getting married. And God, just imagining if I got married and got some chick pregnant, 2 kids later, 7 years later, she gets a 7-year itch, and then the next thing you know, I'm paying $2,000 to whatever a month in child support. It would have crushed me. So just wanted to add that right now.
Who fucking knows anymore? So she files for divorce, takes his kids away, kicks him out of his own house. And now he has to live out of his car, move back in with his parents while paying child support to his ex-wife. It's not just the money. It's not the money that's the problem. The reason why so many divorced men commit suicide is the same reason so many veterans commit suicide. It's because they've been stripped of their identity. They tied their entire worth into being a husband and a father, and it was taken from them, and they have nothing to fill the void. So they feel empty, alone, and basically already dead. So when they start a shotgun, they're just finishing the job. Now the bad news is society has absolutely no interest in changing this dynamic, because it needs men to be utilities. It needs men to sacrifice themselves. It needs men to feel like they have no worth outside of what they do, because that